This is Mahjabin Baloch from Pakistan, and you're watching my YouTube channel Insani Ittihad, which aims to invoke a little bit of humanity in all of us through awareness and understanding. So I watched this Sulha program and I made few comments, but I felt the need to elaborate a little more, so I'm making this video. So I said in regards to the Indians being discriminated in Uganda. So let's see a little context. So we have to see how did the Indian diaspora ended up in the British colonies, either in South Africa, Uganda, Singapore, Hong Kong, and different other parts in Asia and Middle East and MENA region. So the British Empire, or the British Raj, and the British colonies were interlinked. So British used to take Indian merchants and Indian goods from one place to another, and the trade route of the British and the Portuguese and the French, all these European imperialists, was interconnected. That's how these Indian diaspora people ended up in Uganda. Now, when the colonies got their sovereignty from French or British, all the European imperialists, a majority of the people went to their original countries, or went to France or Britain or whoever they felt that now they would start their life there. But the diaspora living in Uganda, I think the black people in Uganda probably thought that these Indian people who came with the imperialists should also go back. But those Indians thought that we want the double thing. We want to have our Indian heritage, and also want to have our share and right in Uganda as Ugandan nationals. Now, there is a lot of political and political background to it, that how did they behave? Were there political loyalties, or were they sending their resources back to India? Were they more loyal to their Indian roots, or were they were fully accepted towards the Ugandan African culture, or whatever? So there could be multiple things. But we can say for sure that those Indian people who were persecuted and discriminated in Uganda didn't actually originated from Uganda. They were brought from India by the imperialists and settled there. Now, when we talk about the Jewish settlers, we need to understand how did Jewish settlement start? What is the context of it? When there was British mandate, there was a small population of majority Sephardic Jews living in Eretz Israel, along with the Arab population, or the Turks, or whatever mixed population. The Turks were in control. They brought the Arabs as settlers into the land, and they took the Jews to Spain, Sepharad, and because it was an Ottoman colony, wherever there was again, the imperialists work through different colonies, so they move population from one colony to another colony, settles them up, and here there was no colony. British didn't actually brought Jews from Europe, and they were fighting a war in World War II and also in World War I. They were fighting with each other. They didn't pay any attention to the needs of the Jews, and especially settled. Jews themselves felt that they are not secure in the nations that they are living, and in the nations they are forced to brought by imperialists, whether those imperialists were Ottomans or Arabs who displaced the Jews from centuries and centuries ago and brought them to these new lands to be used as a resource for as a traders or teachers or whatever. And there is a historical context of Jews being brought by the Arab imperialists and the Ottoman imperialists, and then the British, they moved around the Jewish traders from one colony to another for real estate purposes, for development, for whatnot and whatnot. And then the Jews who were living in Eretz Israel, classical example is Maimonides, they were Arabized. I mean, imagine Maimonides reading Torah and the Hebrew text and then writing his commentaries and writing majority of his work is in Arabic. So this amount of subjugation was for the Jewish history's greatest scholar and commentator. And ironically, Rashi didn't have to face that because he was in the European imperialist, control. He was there, and Rashi was, under that context. So we need to understand the Arab imperialism is far much more worse than European imperialism, because European imperialism, in the end, though they persecuted and subjugated and punished those people who stood for their rights, Jews were one of them. They stood for their rights. They didn't beg the British imperialists for giving them sovereign land. They declared independence. I think now when Irish people, Scottish people, British people support the Palestinian cause, I think that is out of the hate and they feel that they were disrespected by the Jewish people, that these bunch of Holocaust survivors, how can they have their own congregation and they team up and they declare independence on their own, and they don't lick our asses and beg us for our land just like the Jordanian Arabs did. So apart from that, I don't think Palestinian cause has any merit that the world should support, and especially when the Belfast Declaration is very clear: one state for the Arabs, one for the Jews. So you can't have two states for Arabs and one state for the Jews, and that too, you're giving 5 times bigger land in the form of Jordan and then slicing small pieces from Eretz Israel to give it to Palestine. That is just bullshit. That is against human rights. And that is happening because of the sheer anti-Semitism. Because the British and the world does not like the Jews. And the basis of Zionism is this. When the Jews had Holocaust, they had enough. I mean, Holocaust, when we say from the ashes of Holocaust came the Zionist movement, and came the reality of this dream that every Jewish soul had for a sovereign land where they can be who they are and practice Judaism freely without being judgmental or discriminated or persecuted or subjugated. The question should be asked, how did Zionism and how did this sheer love or sheer desperation to have a sovereign land came from? It came from the ashes of Auschwitz. It came from Holocaust, because the European Jews, despite being very less religious, they were, in fact, most of them were liberal Jews in Germany and parts of, the Hasidic movement in Russia was underground. Nobody was openly, saying that I'm Jewish and I'm religious and I'm this and I believe this. Even being assimilated and being so integrated into those European societies, European societies still thought that these people are different. They cannot have same rights or same national identity as us because they are not us. They do not believe in Jesus. They do not have the Christian faith. They have to give away. They said, okay, fine, we will give our faith. We are atheists. We don't have any religion. But amount of pressure that these Jewish communities went through, not just in Europe. Remember, after the Holocaust, after all these atrocities and all, after those liberation of those camps and everything, ships were still turned away from the United States of America, which was the most congenial and most friendliest societies for the Jewish people. So where would those people go? I mean, from this whole reality that nobody wanted the Jews as citizens. Nobody wanted to give national rights to Jewish people. They thought that a Jew is not entitled to have a national identity anywhere in the world. And from that, the Jewish people realized that we need to have our home, our ancestral home, the home from where we were displaced and we were brought into these foreign lands. After centuries of assimilating, of intermingling, of contributing to the European societies and many other societies in the world, they were still the foreigners. They were still the others. They were still the Jude. And therefore, Israel was born for having a place where Jews can belong, for having a place where Jews can live together, express themselves, express their religious aspirations or their irreligious aspiration, whatever, however they want to connect to being a Jew, they can do that. Today you see in Israel a lot of people saying, they are evil, they are irreligious, they don't deserve Temple Mount. How is a Gentile entitled to evaluate a Jew? If a Jew thinks that Israel is just a national identity for him, so be it. He can be a Jew and that's it. He doesn't have to go to Shachrit or Mincha or pray or fast at Yom Kippur or Tisha B'Av or whatever. But he is not scared of telling anyone that he's a Jew. But he might be having a lot of insecurities telling people in the United States of America or other parts of the world, or Europe even, after Holocaust and after all that, still Jewish communities are not secure in Europe. Starbucks was born in the United States of America. It is an American company, American corporation. It is scared because it has a Jewish background or something Jewish. It is scared for its employees and its customer that some random guy, some random anti-Semitic guy would come open fire and, just because it's a Jewish company. This tells us that why having Eretz Israel and having Zionism is so important for every single Jew. Either they are living in Eretz Israel or they are living in diaspora. Because that has been proven through history, through World War II, that it doesn't matter how assimilated you are or how loyal you are or how irreligious you are as a Jew. If you are a Jew, you can be disowned by your national, you can be disowned for your national identity, or you could be easily called as the other. The German said you didn't belong. The Jews don't belong here. The Russians said that they don't belong here. No country is ready to accept the Jews. And then when you question Israel, how can you question Israel when you see that after World War and after the aftermath and everything that happened? I think questioning the existence of Eretz Israel is stupid. It's sheer anti-Semitism and it's against human rights. A nation is not entitled to have one single tiny place in the world to be able to express that is against human rights. Every group of people have a place where they can feel safe to express who they are. Whether they are Tutsis in Rwanda or whatever. I mean, every community has a place where they can be who they are. When we talk about Palestine and say that they have the right to exist, to have their homeland, tell me how they are persecuted in the Arab countries. Everybody loves them. So they're not scared of their lives in Pakistan. They're not scared of their lives in the United States of America. Gigi Hadid is not scared of her life anywhere in the world. Everybody loves the Palestinians. I mean, from India to Pakistan to Europe to United States to United Kingdom to whatever. But Jews are insecure in all the diaspora countries. Whenever something happens and they take a mileage and the diaspora people are hit. So how can, and I was having a conversation with a highly intellectual and educated guy and he makes this point. So the Germans persecuted the Jews and the Russians persecuted the Jews. Why can't the Jews make a country from Germany and Russia? Well, ask Russians and Germans. Will they allow a Jewish state to be born in Berlin and, they can cut their country into half. Half of the Germany can become Eretz Israel and half of Russia can become Eretz Israel. Ask them. They would say how they have come from Eretz Israel. They're not Russians that we will give them land. Although Putin is totally good with the Chechens and the Azerbaijanis and the Uzbeks and Tajiks and whatever to give them sovereignty, but he would never give Jews sovereignty or a piece of land to be who you are and express yourself, have your own system, have your national identity, sovereignty, make your own decision as collective people, have democracy or whatever system you like. So the question is not about Jews being settlers or colonialists. They are not how are they colonialists? Which countries they have colonized? People living in United States of America. I mean, I forget everyone. I tell you my own example. I am a Pakistani, born to Muslim parents and want to convert to Judaism. Obviously, there is no infrastructure, or I can't basically live my life as a Jew in Pakistan. So I have to move. The ideal option would either be UK or US. I don't like UK, so I will go with US because US has the largest Jewish population after Eretz Israel, so I'm going to New York. So in New York, where Starbucks, the biggest corporation, feels insecure at certain parts, not New York actually, it was Chicago, Chicago, where they're closing their few outlets, sorry. So Starbucks, this big corporation which can afford its security and whatever, that company, that corporation feels insecure, and I'm just an individual. I go to US and I feel I don't have family. I would probably go with my sister. So it's two of us, two females with no family. I actually have family, my cousins. My one cousin is in New York and the other one is in Canada. But actually I'm scared of them killing me. No, but obviously they would not say, very good Najabin, you have converted to Judaism, now we are best friends and I will protect you if anyone says anything. So I am scared of my life. I would be scared of being targeted if somebody knows that I was a Muslim and I'm an infidel converting out of Islam and becoming a Jew. Where should I go? I can't be in Pakistan. I'm scared in United States of America and I don't have any family to protect me. Okay, if the Jewish community say, okay, we will be with you and everything, but why should they be with me? For example, I am going through a process of converting. They will say it will take 6 months or a year. So I'm not fully a Jew. So I am converting, in the process of conversion. And okay, I convert. But even then, why should a Jewish community protect me? Wouldn't that put the Jewish community into a vulnerable situation? that one lunatic guy who is assigned to kill me is coming with a gun, and he or she or whatever would kill a bunch of other Jews too. Why would they risk their life for me, a Pakistani wannabe Jew? So as a convert Jew, where should I go to fully express myself as a Jewish person, religiously, spiritually, or whatever, if things don't turn out to be as safe as it can be in United States of America? Obviously, I would opt for Eretz Israel. And for a Palestinian, now a Pakistani converted settler, how am I? So what am I? A Pakistani colonialist, Jewish settler? Fine, I mean, the imperialist, okay, Baruch Hashem, I am from a well-off family, but I'm not a princess that you would call me imperialist. But and if I convert to Judaism, I would lose a lot of share of my property, and I would literally be broke. Yeah, if I don't have a very good supporting brother who would still say that, okay, it's okay, you can have the amount of money and all that. But generally, if a normal Pakistani woman wants to convert to Judaism, or a guy, they would be literally broke, and you're not safe in the United States of America. You will go to Eretz Israel, and if you don't have, and what does it make me? I as a person thinking for my life and wanting to express myself as a Jew, I need a place, and nobody is willing to give that place to me. Even the place where the Jews have originated is not entitled to be given to the people, because now the Arabs all of a sudden they exist there. And when the Arabs have the option to go to other Arab nations, and when they say, why should we go there? Why not? Why not? I mean, it's not like they would have the similar conditions as Jews in Germany. It's not like that, or Jews in Russia. It's not like, okay, these Jews speak Yiddish and we have Russian, or these Jews speak Yiddish and we have German. You speak Arabic, the same language, same culture, same religion. They should accept Palestinians with open arms. Jordan should accept, and Palestinians should say, okay, fine, we go and live with our own people. We can express our being Arab, being Muslim, being whatever. And if they're Arab Christians, they can go to Lebanon. They have a bunch of affluent Arabic Christian people, and for me, I want to be in a place where I can be a Jew in a safe way to express myself as spiritually, as religiously, as a Jew, and nobody, and I'm not scared of my life. I'm not scared of anything. So, despite the fact that my brother says that I'm too dumb to live in Israel, because he thinks that everybody in Israel is just super smart, and I can't even operate an iPhone right, and I am too happy and too naive and too good to live in Israel. But yeah, if the occasion calls for me, you can call me an imperialist settler from Pakistan or whatever, but for me it's a question of life and death. It's the question of my basic right to be who I am religiously, and I want to live my life as a Jew, and Israel provides me that with all the security. So for me, that means this. And the people who were turned from every country and were persecuted and literally lost their livelihoods and their jobs and their children and their family and their lives, in the countries that they lived for generations. For them, creating this Zionist idea of creating this nationhood for the Jewish people where they can be who they are and to express themselves, and they are no longer scared to call themselves Jews, is a beautiful concept. And then settler colonialism? Do you even know what that means? That is like, where was the Jewish imperialist? Where was the Jewish imperialism? Jewish kingship was established in the ancient times, and it only had geographical boundaries around Eretz Israel. It had congenial, ironically, it had the most friendliest and congenial relationship with all the pagan and Gentile, monarchies. So Jews are not imperialists, and then they say, oh, these businessmen and the Jews control the banks and governments, and sometimes I wonder if Jews and the evil Rothschild controls the entire world. If they truly control the entire world, then they should make sure that the entire world loves them. But that's not the case. I mean, just for instance, if I have control over all the world, at least I would make sure that people don't hate me, though they don't necessarily have to love me. I know, I'm a biggest critic of myself. But I will at least make sure that nobody hates me. I am not insecure, and my life and security is not threatened by any other people. But Jewish people are this unique people who control the entire world. Still, they are not safe in Eretz Israel even. I mean, there are terror attacks, and there are people who are the underdogs, and poor little Palestinians are throwing rockets from Gaza every now and then. Those people who have no food, no electricity, no job, no nothing. They have all the resources to make rockets and throw it at the airspace of Israel and towards Israel. To kill the Jews, they have all the resources, but they don't have food, they don't have money, they don't have electricity, they don't have water. I don't know how they are surviving. So, there has to be some logical political narrative, if there is. And Zionism has a background, has bases, Holocaust and the generation of persecution which exists till now. The diaspora Jewish communities in Europe and US are still threatened just for being a Jew, just for having this identity of being Jewish. And they control the entire world. If they control the entire world, there shouldn't be a single resolution against Israel. Israel shouldn't have these terror attacks. Everybody should love them. At least if I have a control over the world, at least I should make sure that I am secure from every enemy of mine. And this is the only nation which has control over all over the world, and still it's the most hated and most insecure also. So I mean it's good to have sympathy for Palestinians, but they have a lousy cause. And the more people advocate for them and their thing, they come up with more absurd arguments, and it's not gonna work. Sorry. So this is all what I wanted to explain. Thank you.